Wow, so how about that new Star Fox game we're getting, huh? Well, maybe I should be putting new in quotation marks. Yeah, it's maybe a little disappointing that it's yet another retelling of the same old story. And as for those new character designs, we'll get to them later.
These animals probably would not be friends, and in fact the fox would probably kill and eat the rabbit while the bird and frog ran away.
But man, despite all the criticisms floating around, I can't help being downright excited. There's so much to love and get hyped for here, whether you're a longtime fan or a series newcomer. So I thought it'd be fun to run through my thoughts and take note of why I think this game is going to be incredible. But more importantly, I also want to share why I think Nintendo might just be hiding something right under our noses. So without further ado, buckle in, check your G-diffusers, and let's take a look at why Star Fox on Switch 2 looks awesome.
Good luck.
So, elephant in the room, yes, this is technically the 5th time Nintendo's made this same game. But is it? Let's break it all down. 64 is a remake of its predecessor on Super Nintendo, but the two games are pretty wildly different. Although they share a basic plot, level layouts aren't the same at all, and paths from Corneria to Venom don't match up. 64 is a full-on reimagining of what had come before. My hot take of the day is that I actually wanted the first game to be remade rather than 64. The way it's aged, it could use a touch-up. Then came 64 3D, and this one really is as one-to-one as a remake can get. It's just a prettier 64, but it's still on a handheld, so these days it isn't much to write home about. Next came Zero, and by now we all know how that went. But just like 64, it's only a remake in terms of story. Once again, the gameplay and level design are wildly different, for better or worse. But unlike with previous games, Zero's version of events feels pretty bland, and that's the reason why the story disappointed. It's just a lesser version of a good thing. Which brings us to today. Star Fox on Switch 2 does seem like a one-to-one remake, but it looks like the inverse of Star Fox Zero. And it's certainly prettier than 3D. They've kept the gameplay perfectly intact, while going bigger with the story. The little vignettes they've stuck between levels look like they're doubling down on making the narrative and characters deeper. It'll be so intriguing to go through familiar levels with that added context. It's not just the Lylat Wars again, it's the Lylat Wars but bigger and better. And on top of that, they're adding a bold new direction for...
Good luck.
Wow, does this game look gorgeous! I've never been one to care about graphics, especially when it comes to realism, but I just can't help being stunned by this. If I'm being honest, I've always been one of those geeks saying, "Wow, can you believe this is running on a handheld?" at every big Switch release. And this game's making sure I keep saying that into the Switch 2 era. The models are so detailed and clean. The lighting is absolutely beautiful in those space levels. And those characters!
Good luck.
I very much prefer when game art is more stylized. Like pretty much everyone else out there, Fox's new movie design made me crave a game in that style. It's got so much pizzazz and cool 90s game energy. So when I sat down to watch the Direct, well, here's a recreation. Oh my god, this is so gorgeous! Oh my god. Look at the— oh, whoa! Oh, that's different. I don't know if I like that. Oh, hey, hi, Slippy. Oh my god, they're going like fully realistic. Oh, Peppy looks good. Whoa! Yeah, that was jarring, to say the least. We'll never unsee Falco's legs. But after only about a day of rewatching over and over and over out of hype, the designs actually grew on me just fine. And I think I know why. Star Fox has always had a weird penchant for juxtaposing its silly, cartoony characters with some darker subject matter. Characters get killed off, they betray each other, they miss lost loved ones, and sometimes they even—
This isn't a conversation for children!
Right, sorry. Point is, if any cartoony little Nintendo series was gonna make a sharp turn into realism, Star Fox has always been the one. And beyond just how they look, each character feels just right so far. Peppy's reluctance to leave an old friend behind paints him as the loyal, caring mentor he's always been. Slippy's adorable. Hearing him geek out over space anomalies and crazy tech feels just like him. That little smirk Fox gives after Falco's playful ribbing is the perfect exhibition of the true friendship behind their rivalry. And Pigma is the perfect embodiment of those darker elements. That opening cinematic makes it clear what a low-down, dirty scumbag he is, loyal to nothing but the almighty space dollar. He even picks his nose as he betrays his team. What a great detail. On top of the writing, the voice acting seems pretty good so far. A lot of the characters sound like they've bridged the gap between 64 and Assault.
It's about time you showed up.
Looks like we're not too late.
We need your help, Star Fox.
Lippy here. I'm okay.
It's just so crazy. So far, so good.
It's still corny enough to be charming and charismatic, but just grounded enough to fit the new aesthetic. So, despite the shock of that initial reveal, I think this new style fits Star Fox just fine, and I can't wait to see this iteration of the cast in action.
Good luck.
So, yeah. It's 64 again. The game's gonna be good. While I can see why people are disappointed about that, I think it's kinda reassuring. Once again, let's compare it to Star Fox Zero. Love it or hate it, that gameplay was polarizing. It understood elements of Star Fox gameplay, but failed to properly execute. Everyone's talked at length already about the bad controls, but more importantly, lots of the levels are bland and tedious. The game really wouldn't have been saved by better controls. When it comes to the new remake, at least we know we're getting something good. You fly around, you aim, you shoot, through levels we already know are fun. Mostly. Looking at you, Aquas. Even if the levels are exactly the same as in 64, we know they're good levels, and they're gonna be just as fun and a million billion times prettier on Switch 2. And on a side note, I'm actually glad they have an optional way to aim independently from your ship. I never hated that aspect of Zero and always thought it could work well if it was better implemented. The cockpit mode looks really neat this time around, and I'm sure co-op's gonna make for some silly fun with friends. Oh, speaking of which...
Good luck.
Not much to say here, honestly. I'm just really glad they included it. Multiplayer is something Zero could have seriously benefited from, so it's good to see the series go online. I might be a bit disappointed that the classic deathmatch mode doesn't seem to be returning, but these new ones look pretty cool. I wonder if you can unlock on-foot characters again like in 64. That'd be something. This is certainly something. I can't wait to force my friends into using game chat just so I can use these avatars. This weirdness is one of those out-of-pocket decisions that makes me love Nintendo. Oh yeah, Nintendo. Didn't I say they might be up to something? Good old Nintendo probably knew a 64 remake would be controversial. They had to, it's been a joke among fans since that Smosh video.
Well, what's my new game called?
Star Fox 64 3D.
But that's the same f***ing game!
Which makes me wonder, is this really the straight remake we've been told it is? Sure, we know they're adding story content and fleshing things out, but what if that's merely the tip of the iceberg? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna sound a little crazy for this next part, but just bear with me. In my last video, I talked about Star Fox's proclivity for cosmic reality-hopping shenanigans, and I can't help wondering if Nintendo's taken that into account this time. I mean, another parallel continuity when they know so many people are sick of that? They have to be playing with us, right? And them ending off the Direct with that James McCloud prologue put an idea in my head. Since 64, it's been implied that James might still be alive. That his encounter with Andross ended with him being flung through the vast cosmos and into another realm entirely. Now, imagine you've just gotten to the end of the remake for the first time. You've beaten the true final boss, and Andross screams,
If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
But instead of the familiar ending where James shows up and helps Fox escape, you find yourself flying through a warp. Sharp, polygonal masses whiz past, as Fox questions if what he's seeing is even real. James shows up as always to guide his son through, only to disappear once more as Fox finds himself in a parallel universe, fighting to find his way home. That's right, I'm proposing that there's a whole separate game on top of the 64 remake. Think of how much easier it would be to swallow another remake if this were secretly the case. And think of the potential! Every path could be a separate continuity, a journey through previous Star Fox games. And hey, as a bonus, the theme of Fox trying to get back to his universe would tie into the Mario movie pretty well. Alternatively, maybe you play as James on his journey after the prologue, trying to get home to find his son. Do I definitely think this is gonna happen? Nope. I don't have that much faith in Nintendo. But would it be cool? Yeah. Just picture that hyper-realistic R-Wing zipping through a low-poly SNES game. Hey, maybe this is that Star Fox 1 remake I wanted. Kind of like that unlockable mode at the end of Pikmin 4. Wouldn't that be such a Nintendo thing to pull? We all know how they love their retro nostalgia. At the end of the day, I'm just glad to be getting a Star Fox game. Sure, I would have preferred for it to be brand new instead of a remake. And yeah, I was hoping it'd be crazy stylized rather than that. But I really do think this is gonna be awesome. And I don't think this is all we're getting. My idea that this game might be hiding something is probably a stretch. I'm not getting my hopes up too high for that. But on the bright side, it feels like Nintendo's using this as a springboard for whatever's next in Fox's multiverse. They're embracing classic gameplay while taking on a bold new direction. So I want to know how you feel about all this, and what your hopes for the series are going forward. Whatever this remake ends up being, whether it's hiding something or not, I think it's merely the prologue of a grander epic. And I can't wait to see where the series warps us next! In the meantime, I've been Galaxy of Bees. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking around!